Welcome everyone to day 3 of our LinkedIn Jumpstart challenge. Well, hey, if we can't leave our houses because of this coronavirus, we are going to hang out online today. I'm super excited to see you guys in the chat. We have so many awesome, fantastic things to cover. Hopefully you guys are staying safe. You're washing your hands. You're covering your face when you sneeze, all that good stuff. We are online today, and I'm so excited that you guys are joining me. I'm so grateful that we can still connect and be with each other for a little bit of time today. I want to ask you to kind of forget about all the crazy news that's happening right now. I know that it's insane. I know that there's some crazy things happening, but let's spend some time today thinking about something else. And that something else is LinkedIn. So I am grateful for you guys to be here. If you have never met me before, my name is Heather Austin from ProfessorAustin.com. And on this channel, I help professionals just like you build your personal brand so that you can find your dream job and grow in a career you love. So if you're new to my channel, I want you to hit the thumbs up button down below, especially if you can hear me and audio is coming through so that I know that we are good to go. Also, make sure you subscribe. I know a lot of you that watch this live stream have not yet subscribed to this channel. So make sure you subscribe for more videos and content and live streaming just like this to help you get ahead in your career. Now, if you have not yet said hi in the chat, make sure you do. Tell us who you are and where you are joining us from. And let me know, are you quarantined today? I know that my kids are in school. Thank goodness. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I think next week school will probably be canceled for them. So, they'll be all home with me. So let me know if you're quarantined as well. Let me know in the chat where you're coming to us from. I'm going to say hi to some of you guys that are already here. Sweet Rosa, hello. So glad to see you again. Kristen is here. Hello. I see a lot of you guys from day 1 and day 2. So if you have not yet caught up on those challenge days, make sure you do. Tori will be popping into the chat with links to all the good stuff. Plus, it is in the comments below this video. Laura from Waco is here. Things are going great today. Kristen from, oh, you're saying hi to Laura. Glad to see that you guys are getting to know each other. Steve is here. Tom is here again. Michelle. Let's see. Who else do we have? Patrick. Hello. So glad to have you guys here. Felix is here. Oh my goodness. There's so many familiar names again in the chat. And I love to see that you guys are here and ready to jive with me today. So we are talking about the 5 biggest mistakes that you are probably making on LinkedIn and how to fix them. We are also doing LinkedIn profile critiques. Now, this is my favorite part of today's live stream because I'm going to be showing a couple profiles to you. These are individuals that submitted their profile for review. We had the hardest time selecting people because there were so many individuals and so many fantastic profiles to read. And basically, we went off of the individual story and decided, what could we tell the world on this profile that other people could implement in their own profile? So that's how we picked the profiles to review. I also want to make a big announcement. LinkedIn Profile Perfection, my full online LinkedIn course, just opened doors today. Now, I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about that with you as we go throughout the live stream today. But just so you know, we are now open for VIP early bird enrollment. That ends on Monday. Excuse me. So Monday at midnight Pacific Standard Time, that offer will be gone. So make sure if you have enjoyed this content here today, that you take a look at the content inside of LinkedIn Profile Perfection, because we dive even deeper into you building a successful platform or profile, and you really taking LinkedIn by the horns and learning how to use it like a professional. So we will talk a little bit more about that. What I want to know in the chat from you, let me pop my slides up here. What is the hardest part about using LinkedIn for you? So tell me in the chat, what is the hardest part about using LinkedIn for you? And again, if you guys are just jumping in, let me just tell you, thank you for being here with me. I know it's hard to not focus on all the craziness that's happening right now. I know for me, my husband and I are always like checking the latest updates and who has this and what's happening now. And I'm glad that you guys are here and that we can take a few minutes to not think about that. trust me, it's as much of a joy for me to be here, not focusing on gloom and doom. And I'm happy that you guys are here with me. So let me know, what is the hardest part about using LinkedIn for you? So I know for me, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my story as you are typing into the chat. For me, when I started using LinkedIn, and you guys, if you've been with me the last couple of days, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I actually was just super overwhelmed and confused by the platform. And I was more concerned about what others would think of me. So what my coworkers, what my boss, excuse me, what other people would think of me if I started talking about my accomplishments and as I started selling myself on the platform. So while you guys are typing in your hardest part, let me show you a picture. Again, you've seen this if you were here with me on day one. This is me in my old job, in my old position. On the left, this is me with my coworkers. We had an 80s party. I loved this position so much. I was helping students find jobs. I was helping them develop their personal brand. I was thriving in this position. And here's me on the right. That's me sitting in front of the organization's mission statement. I was so into what I was doing, but my job was in jeopardy. Classroom sizes were shrinking. My supervisors and my bosses were resigning. There were programs that I was teaching where they were being discontinued. And I knew that it was time for me to really hit it hard when it comes to LinkedIn, because I knew that I knew that I couldn't just get by and find a new position with just a resume and a cover letter. I knew that I needed to do a little bit more. Now, the other problem with that is that I was raising a family. So this is a picture of my family. If you guys have never seen this before, this is a couple years old. We have not done family photos since this. My youngest, who's the baby on my lap, he's now 4. And my oldest, who's the little boy, the rambunctious boy, notice he's not wearing shoes in the picture because he refused to wear shoes, which is fine. That's how it goes. He's now 12. So at that time, we were trying to make ends meet and figure out, okay, well, if this position of yours is going to end, what are you going to do? How are you going to find a new position? And that's when I got to work learning what I could about LinkedIn. Again, if you guys haven't seen this before, I built out a profile, and it took me a little bit of time, but with time and with some effort and some energy into that, I started appearing in almost 900 searches per week, and then also almost 5,000 profile views a week. So the opportunities have started to come in and roll in, where before I actually only started with 50 connections. That's how I started my profile, is I didn't really know anyone. I didn't know how to network. I was super confused by the platform. I was actually overwhelmed when I would log in and look at what was going on with LinkedIn. I'm like, what is this thing? And then quickly, I've been able to go from 50 to 5,000 connections. Now, some of you might say that's a lot. Some of you might say, hey, I already have that. And let me just tell you really quickly, we've talked a lot about this the last couple of days here, is it's not quantity as much as it is quality. So my recommendation for you, and if you did not see yesterday's live stream, is to go and look at the quality of your connections, because you could have 10,000 connections and yet it won't lead anywhere. But if you have a good 1,000 connections that are strong, that are meaningful, that are people that know you and want to help you succeed and you want to help them succeed, chances are you will end up in either the job or the career opportunity that you really want. So now let me see. I want to see what you guys said the hardest part about LinkedIn for you. And we will talk about the challenge. I love that you guys are already mentioning this. Let's see. Someone says, maintaining it consistently and growing it. Yes, this is one of those things that if you want to be an active participant, which if you didn't see day one of our live stream, take a look at that, because I talk all about why you need to be using LinkedIn and kind of the numbers and the statistics and some other stories around that. But yeah, you want to make sure you're somewhat consistent on this platform. Someone talks about the summary. Yes, we're going to talk about the summary today. Someone says, Mahalia, I'm not sure how you pronounce your name, says, the hardest thing is finding jobs similar with my former position. Seems like it's very specific and I can't find something similar. Yes. Someone's reaching out. Let's network on LinkedIn. Oh, thanks, sweet Rosa, says my kids are so cute. They are cute. They're a lot of work though. Tom says, building connections that count. Yes. Daniela, I'm so glad you're here. Hello. Daniela is one of my World Class Career Academy students. Yeah, that's a lot. I only get 9. That's okay. We're going to work on that. Let's see. Okay, awesome. You guys have had some fantastic comments in here. Let's jump into the top 5 mistakes that you're making. While I'm doing these mistakes, I'm also actually going to be jumping into profile review. So we're going to get right into it as I'm talking about the mistakes, and we are going to basically look at some of these other profiles so that you guys can learn from things that they're doing right and maybe some things that they could improve on, and then you can apply that to your own profile. Okay, so let's look at mistake number 1. I'm going to show you the slide really quick. Again, take notes here today. You guys know that I love slides. I love sharing as much information as possible. Take notes. These slides and this information is only going to be available until next week. So make sure, if you have not yet caught up on day 1 and day 2 of the challenge, make sure you do that. These will all be available next week. Until next week. So mistake number 1 is not optimizing the top half of your profile. So when I talk about the top half of your profile, there's 3 main sections that you need to pay attention to, because you got to remember, let's say a hiring official or a manager is going to look at your profile, or they're searching for you and they find you, or you have a new connection that finds you. Let's say they only have like 2 or 3 seconds or maybe 30 seconds on your profile. They're going to move through that top half fairly quickly. And if they don't like what they see, chances are they're not going to continue learning about you, and they're not going to reach out in terms of a connection. So we need to have that top half optimized to keep them going through the content. So the very first thing, and I don't have a slide on this, so just write this down. The very first thing is your profile photo. Now, when it comes to your photo, I always like to say smile in your photo. A smile says a lot about you. If you can smile in your photo, make sure that it's industry specific. Make sure that you're not taking a selfie, okay? That's not the place for LinkedIn. You don't want to have a selfie up there. Make sure it's a high quality photo. Make sure you're also looking at the camera. So I get a lot of people that they get these photo shoots done, which I did recommend that yesterday, but they'll put a photo up where like the person's either too far away from the camera and you can't really see their face, and it looks cool, but at the end of the day, you need them to be able to see who you are, like a nice close-up photo. I always say the elbows up. The other cool thing, if you think about it this way, is if you have a profile photo, or a professional profile photo, so a really good one, your profile will be viewed 14 times more than if you didn't. And then you're also likely to receive connection requests by 9 times. So you want to make sure that profile photo is in there. The next thing you want to consider is your headline. So this is the optimizing the top half. The second part of this is your headline. So when it comes to your headline, and I'm going to show you guys a slide here in a second with some examples. When it comes to your headline, you don't want to leave the default headline. So LinkedIn gives you, when you first build out your profile, it will put your most recent or current position as the headline. I don't recommend leaving it that way. I actually recommend beefing it up a little bit. Now, you could always include the title, but add a little bit more to that. And you never want to say actively seeking or currently looking for employment. Never use those types of words, because it's actually a turnoff, and hiring officials, new connection requests, people of that nature, they look at it as a red flag and they'll just say, I don't know if I want to connect with that person or reach out about this opportunity. So let me show you guys some examples. So in yellow, this is the very first example. In yellow, I could have had my title as graphic designer. Okay, and I could have said graphic designer at company XYZ, right? But notice how much better I'm getting when I'm adding my specialization. And then I want you to mainly focus on this. I want you to focus on the other keywords in here. So notice I'm adding the words logo design and personal brand awareness. So let's say that I'm a hiring official and I go to LinkedIn and I type in that I want a graphic designer that knows logo design, or I want a graphic designer that has personal brand awareness, or whatever. So I could switch out these words. I could switch out the word logo design, and I could also switch out the word personal brand awareness depending on what they're looking for. So again, you're not just going to say graphic designer at company XYZ. You want to get very specific and say specializing in whatever. Let me show you a couple other examples. So here's another one that says dental office manager. So let's say I was a dental office manager. Here's another way I could put this to create more engagement. So notice I'm just using a vertical line to separate, and I'm saying creating high performance office environments. So notice how much better that sounds than dental office manager at company XYZ, right? Let me show you another example. Director of Public Relations and Marketing. And remember, the yellow is in what normally people would put, but now we're adding extra. We are really trying to beef this up. And I do want to make a point here, because I try and stay up with the latest trends on LinkedIn so that when I come here and I teach you guys, I'm sharing with you the most recent and relevant information. I see a lot of people that like jam their headline with so much stuff. And to me, I think that's a turnoff. I don't like that. I just want to know what it is that you do, and then maybe give me just like a little bit of extra, it's almost like give me a little bit of a little taste, instead of like, and LinkedIn does allow you to put, I want to say it's 120 characters into your summary, but I don't like the profiles where like you're jamming in so much. Like these examples that I'm showing are pretty clear cut, and they just add just a tiny bit of extra to keep the viewer engaged. Let me show you one more example before we get to the second mistake. So notice this one, innovative sales professional. So notice I'm using the word innovative, so I can throw in some sort of action verb or whatever that I want to put in there. And then I'm saying looking to positively impact a new organization. So you can see that now I'm taking this to like a whole nother level. So rather than just saying a sales professional, I'm putting like a descriptive word in front of there. And then I'm saying I'm looking to do this. And you could switch these out with whatever words and phrases you want to use. Just make sure they're very tailored to your industry. Awesome, guys. Okay, also, I do want to make a note before we jump into the second question, or excuse me, the second mistake. I want you to pop any questions you have about any of this content into the chat. Again, make sure you put a question mark or put like the word question in front of your question, so that Tori, so she's my team member in here, she will be able to help us get through these questions quickly by the time we're finished here today. Okay, let me know in the chat too, as we're jumping into mistake number 2. I want to know in the chat, how would you rate your headline? So day 1, I asked you how would you rate your profile, and we had a lot of different ratings in there. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your headline? So would you give it a 1 where, oh, I could definitely use some work on my headline? Would you give it a 10 where, hey, my headline is like awesome, I'm getting so much attention and traffic from it, I don't think that there's anything I could change with it? So let me know, type that in, and I'm going to share mistake number 2 with you guys while you're putting that in the chat. So mistake number 2 is not customizing your public profile URL. So we're going to jump into, oh, sorry, you guys. You know what? I got to jump back because I forgot the second part, or excuse me, the third part of this. And this is why I use slides, because I forget what I'm talking about. I move too fast. Really quickly, the other part to the top half of our profile is the summary. Okay, and this is so ironic because the summary is the most overlooked section, which I just overlooked it, okay? This is one of the sections that it's actually the hardest for people to write. And a lot of times people just kind of skip over it because it's so complicated, right? Or it seems so complicated. It doesn't have to be. The summary section is inside your about section. And this is where you want to use very specifically keywords and keyword phrases and short, simple paragraphs to explain who you are and what you do. Now, I'm going to show some examples of profiles here in just a second, but I just had to add that in there. I apologize for forgetting that. I so quickly wanted to jump to mistake number 2. So let me see what you guys are saying in terms of your headline. Momo says 10. I love to see some 10s in here. Gary says 5. Let's see. Helen says 6. Good. Sweet Rosa says that my headline is rated at a 2. Felix says, after what you just stated, I feel it's a big fat 2. That's okay. You can make it better. So you can make it better even by the end of the day, right? Barbara says 5. Rushdi says 6. Awesome. You guys have some fantastic ratings here. These aren't bad. These are okay ratings. We're going to just make them a little bit better. So let's jump into mistake number 2 now. I was kind of getting ahead of myself. So mistake number 2 is not customizing your public profile URL. So let me show you an example of what a non-customized public profile URL looks like, because you guys might not even know if your LinkedIn URL is custom or personalized. So this is like, take for example, Sally Smith, and I just made this up. Don't everyone go out and stalk Sally Smith, okay? Because I'm sure there's one of those out there. But here's Sally Smith. It would show your name, and then it would show like some variation of numbers and characters, okay? Well, if Sally goes in and customizes her URL, it looks like this: linkedin.com/in/Sally-Smith. So when you are creating your LinkedIn profile, make sure you customize your public profile URL, because this is the URL you are going to put on your resume, on your cover letter. You're going to share it in emails. You don't want to share like some random number, right? So I want to jump into the first LinkedIn profile review. And let's do that right now. And then remember, feel free to ask questions as we go throughout this session here. We do have a couple of reviews to do, and then we will be talking about mistakes, the rest of the mistakes that you might be making. So let's jump into, I want to go to Victoria. So let me pop her profile up. So Victoria submitted her profile. She was one of the early submissions to this. And let me see, I'm going to also put my face up here too. So here is Victoria's profile. Now let me just give you guys a quick rundown, and we'll just take a couple minutes on each of these profiles so that I can show you some of the things that I would recommend if her and I were meeting together, and I were to tell her, hey, maybe change this or try this. So this is what one of the things I was talking about here is the profile photo. So Victoria, I would love to see you facing the camera a little bit more and just showing us that beautiful smile, because I can see it there, but I want to see a little bit more close up. I also love that she has, she says, Proven Girls Club Summer Camp Counselor. And then I love this statement, helping advocate for the youth of today so there's a brighter tomorrow. I actually really like that. The only thing I'd recommend doing, Victoria, is I would change the word proven, and I would do something like dedicated or inspirational, or something that gives us a little bit more feeling. Proven, that's not a bad word, but we could get even like engage even more emotion over that. So that's one thing that I would recommend doing there. The other thing, we don't talk about this in the mistakes, is you could add a background image here if you wanted, and it would be anything specific to your industry. Okay, and hey, when I see these profiles, keep in mind, you guys, that this is what like a hiring official will see. Like this is a very similar, when they log into your profile, this is very similar to what they would see when they look at your profile. Notice that I can see all of your activity, okay, unless you've selected to not show that. And then let's talk about the experience section really quick. So if you could, Victoria, and the organization probably is not linked in any way, but if it is, if you could link it inside the work experience section, notice how you've linked your education and the icons come up. The icon would pop up in the experience section. Okay, love that you have your title. I would also consider, Victoria, maybe not having it capitalized. So maybe just using sentence case, that might be a good idea for you. And then notice how we have the job description here. What I would recommend doing, Victoria, is I would actually break this up into 2 paragraphs of just like some information, like keep it short and simple. 2 paragraphs, maybe 2 to 3 sentences each. And then maybe if you wanted to have a couple bullet points under that, I like to look at LinkedIn as more of a casual, not casual platform, but where you can add your personality and your experience and your character a little bit more than on a resume. So this looks like it was just copied and pasted from your resume, and I would recommend turning that into more of like a personal, and you can get personal with that. Now let's jump back up here because notice one thing. Does anyone know, and I want to see how good you guys are at listening to what I'm talking about here. Does anyone know, or can you spot anything that Victoria might be missing here on her page? And I know it might take you guys a second, but it's one of the things, remember I mentioned, it's one of the most overlooked sections on LinkedIn. And of course I overlooked it when I was trying to tell you guys about it. I'm going to kind of see what's also happening in the chat. We have a couple of questions in. Fantastic. Tori's going to get your guys' questions in to me so that we can quickly answer them. Again, if you have any questions about LinkedIn, pop in the word question or a question mark as we're going through this. Awesome. Okay, good. Helen and Victoria said summary. Randy said background pic, and yes, that is missing, but that's not as big of an issue as the summary. So the summary, again, is one of the biggest items that you need to make sure you have on your profile, because that is really where you're going to pull all those really juicy keyword phrases and keywords that talk about yourself. So Victoria, I would recommend adding that. Recommend kind of condensing down that experience section. Let me show you guys an example. I'm going to just jump to my profile really quick because I want to show you an example of the experience section. So notice what I'm doing here is I'm just doing a couple paragraphs, and I could include bullet points in there. If you do include bullet points, I would include like a sentence or two and then bullet points under it, but try not to copy and paste from your resume because we want this to be a little bit more in depth. Education looks great. License and certificate. So remember, you guys can always add that. I think that looks fantastic. Okay, volunteer experience. This is great. This is showing, because Victoria doesn't have a lot of work experience, this is showing some other things. And this is a super, super, super important section, not only on LinkedIn, but on your resume. I would do the exact same thing. I would format it the same way as you do your experience section, where you're just including a couple paragraphs of information. Don't copy and paste from the resume. Accomplishments and interests. Fantastic. So Victoria, overall, you have a fantastic start to your LinkedIn profile. There's just a few little tweaks that you can make to make it even better. And then I bet you'll start to see some great results from that. Okay, let's jump into our third mistake. So we are going to kind of run through this. I'm taking a little bit longer than I thought to kind of explain everything to you guys, but we'll run through this as quickly as we can. So mistake number 3 is not using keywords or keyword phrases. So what this means is if I'm writing my headline and my summary and even my work experience section, if I'm trying to tailor a specific industry or a specific job, if I'm not using any of the lingo or any of the terminology that we use in that industry or in that position, I'm not going to be found in search results by hiring officials and recruiters. So you have to make sure you're using keywords and keyword phrases specifically from the industry or the job posting. Now, let me show you what it looks like to pull keywords from a job posting. So this is just a random job posting that I've pulled up, and notice that I've highlighted some keywords that are popping up more than one time or multiple times in this job posting. So this is what I would want to make sure I'm including in my LinkedIn profile. And hey, keep in mind, this also applies to resumes too. So if you guys are trying to write your resume right now for a new opportunity, the same principle applies. So notice that they're mentioning innovative self-starter. They're mentioning someone with analytical skills. They want someone that, notice they're talking about the word analytical a lot. So you'll want to make sure that word's in there. They're talking about someone with research and data mining. So again, this is how you pull those keywords and you now put them into your headline, your summary, and your work experience section. Now, let me ask you this before. Have any of you, just give me a yes or no if you've ever done this. Have you ever like gone through and searched through a job description before and found keywords and actually applied them to either your resume or your cover letter? Give me a yes or a no in the chat if you have ever done that. I'm really curious to know how far you guys have gotten with that. And then also, let me remind you that Tori's here. She is going to be taking questions. So pop the word question or a question mark into the chat if you have any questions, so that we can make sure we get them answered before we finish here today. Okay, I think I'm gonna jump into. Yes, let's go ahead and jump into, I want to do one more profile critique here. Let's jump to John. So John is an individual that I've met with a couple times. John, and let me know if you're here today. John submitted his, let me get to his profile. John submitted his profile, and I thought, okay, this is the perfect one to review, because there's a lot of good things you're doing and then a lot of things that we want to talk about. Awesome. It looks like a lot of you guys are saying, yes, you have gone through and looked at the keywords. Fantastic. And this is just one of those skills that as you're job seeking, you start to get better at, and you start learning how to pinpoint really quickly and what to change in your resume or on your LinkedIn profile. Someone says, no, Diego, that's okay. You know how to do it now. Just recently, yes, and it worked well for me. Yes, every time I've applied for a job. Awesome. So good, you guys. Okay, let's look at John's profile really quickly. So John submitted his profile. And one thing that I loved about it is notice his profile photo. He's facing the front. He's smiling. Looks fantastic, right? That's actually a really good photo. I would keep that there. You don't really need to change that photo, John. I wondered about the headline. So I think that's good. Keep in mind where the text is. Whenever you put text on a background photo, you have to look at, what does it look like on mobile? Because does your face cover it up? What does it look like on a tablet? And what does it look like on the big screen, like on a desktop? So keep that in mind as you are going through your profile. And then notice he has vice president of W whatever. What I would do here, John, I don't know if I would include your email address right at the top. I would include it in the contact info, and then I would place it in the summary. So the about section, which is your summary, I would remove that and put that there. I would, however, try and pack this full with some keywords a little bit more, your headline. So you could say vice president of, and then specializing in, or with an emphasis in, or whatever. Like, let's get some keywords in there that can show what it is that you do and how well you do it. Okay, so go back to that slide where I talk about I talk a little bit more about that. Now let's go down to the about section. So here's the summary again. And one of the things I do like about this, John, is I like how you've separated everything out in little short paragraphs. That's one of the best ways to do that. One thing I am going to recommend, however, is trying to use some headlines. You could even use bullet points inside your headline, inside your summary, to break up the content. I would also talk a little bit, John, about what are your greatest accomplishments. Talk about what are you passionate about? What drives you most about being in the title insurance company? Talk a little bit more about that. And then one thing I would love to see here, John, is a specialization or specializing in or expertise section at the very end. Now, let me show you my summary really quick so you have an idea of what I mean by the expertise in. So I'm going to jump up to mine. And notice how I'm using some headlines, and these, I call them headlines or headers, but it's really just words in cap, okay? And then notice at the very bottom, I have an expertise section. All of you should have that. It could be specializing in, expertise, whatever word you want to use, and then pack that full of some keywords that other individuals can use to find you, okay? That's one thing that I would recommend on that, John. Interests are here. So what I'm missing here, John, and this is what I would look at, and I know you're in the process of building your profile, so hopefully while we're all quarantined, most of you that are here, hopefully you'll work on your profile during this quarantine period, right? I would look at adding your work experience in here, adding any education, of course, adding, if you have volunteer experience, you could add that as well. Add anything else that's going to beef up. Also, recommendations are a big one. I would get that in there if you can. Now, of course, and you guys know today we launched LinkedIn Profile Perfection. It's open. The doors are open. We go through all of that content in the course. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second here. So we've covered a lot so far, guys. Let's go and jump into mistake number 4. And a lot of this we've covered over the last couple of days is not personalizing your connection requests. So I can't tell you how many times I get connection requests from people that have said nothing to me. And if you guys want to know, I have a template that I included day 1 that will tell you how to personalize your connection requests. And then we also shared a template in day 2 to help you reach out to ask for a recommendation in case your connection requests are not really going through, right? So you want to make sure anytime you're reaching out to anyone, personalize that connection request. Go back to day 1 and day 2 and watch the replays to learn how to do that. And then the 5th and final step here is an unclear work experience section. So anytime that you're not really fully explaining what it is that you've done for your work history. And if you looked at Victoria's profile, although she had one position listed, she was able to back that up with some volunteer work, which was super, super, super beneficial. So I love that she did that. And again, we want to make sure in your work experience section that you have that optimized, that you're including your key accomplishments, not just your job descriptions, that you are listing the positions, listing them clearly. Don't copy and paste from your resume again. I like to see paragraphs and add a little bit more personality. Now, let me share one quick difference with you between your resume and your LinkedIn profile. Resume is very formal. You're never going to speak in first person on your resume. However, LinkedIn, you can. So in LinkedIn, you can say, I am a dedicated such and such. I'm passionate about this. One of my greatest accomplishments is this. Resume writing has a very distinct, it's almost like a different language, right? You're not speaking in first person and you almost have to write these short, choppy sentences that sometimes don't make sense, but they do. It's weird. Like in the job market, those sentences do make sense. But if someone never knew about resume writing, they would say, why are you writing things like this? So it has a very, very distinct difference. Now, let me ask you guys really quickly, and then I'm going to share a little bit more about LinkedIn Profile Perfection with you. And then I do have maybe 1 or 2 other profile reviews we're going to do. Tell me in the chat, of these 5 mistakes, which one do you think you're most guilty of? So again, mistake number 1 is not having a fully optimized top half. Mistake number 2 is not having your not customizing your URL. And again, I'll show you guys in a second here with another resume or another LinkedIn profile review. Mistake number 3 is not using keywords. Which mistake do you think that you are most guilty of? Not personalizing your connection requests. Or is it maybe just having an unclear work experience section? So type that into the chat. Also, if you have any other questions, be sure to pop that in as well. Now, I'm going to walk you through just a couple slides here just to introduce you a little bit more to LinkedIn Profile Perfection so you guys can see a little bit more about what's inside this program. Now, you probably have been to this you're probably here at this challenge, or you've been with me the last couple of days because you probably are looking for a better LinkedIn profile that gives you more confidence, right? More confidence to pursue those career opportunities that you really want. You're probably wanting a LinkedIn profile that is more marketable, one that lands you more jobs, one that helps you successfully connect with people at companies that you would like to work for. Maybe you want to make engaging content that's impactful and creates conversation, or maybe you just want to amp up your profile to increase your connections. Now, remember that nothing I've shared during this challenge, so the last 3 days that we've been together, is just a good idea or theory. These are proven concepts that I've been able to use, that my students have been able to use, and that my clients have been able to use to really succeed on LinkedIn. Now, I don't have secret tools or access to expensive resources. I just have a system that works. And I know that if I can do this and others can do this, I know that so can you. Now, I want to ask you, how would you like the exact templates, all the guides, all the instructions for every single part of the process? Now, these are just a few of the things that we have inside the program. It's the LinkedIn headline and summary templates, all the networking and connection request templates, the recommendation requests, all the trainings and the strategies that my clients have used to figure out the intricacies of LinkedIn to grow their connections effortlessly and to land new career opportunities. Well, I want to invite you to join us inside of LinkedIn Profile Perfection. Now, LinkedIn Profile Perfection is an all-inclusive online program where you'll learn exactly how to build a marketable LinkedIn profile and navigate the platform like a pro. This course is a complete guide with video lessons and step-by-step tutorials to help you build a powerful profile and navigate the platform with confidence. Now, let me share a couple success stories with you. This is Cheryl. So Cheryl sent me a message and said, Heather, I wanted you to know that your great advice works. She says, before I started my job search, I had neglected my LinkedIn profile and underestimated the importance and the value of LinkedIn. And she goes on to say she initially considered it like Facebook. So let me know, have you considered LinkedIn just like Facebook? She says, I didn't put much effort into it. And she said, your advice was spot on. The great thing that happened to Cheryl is she received a job for the same job she'd applied to hundreds of times after putting in to practice some of these concepts. Now, she's not the only one. I want you to meet Alexis. So Alexis says, I didn't know how to explain my employment gap. She said, I was blown away by the LinkedIn workshop. And she goes on to say that I feel much more confident, actually excited. So can you imagine feeling that confidence and that excitement to start reaching out and finding those new career opportunities? Now, let me get specific about what is inside of the program. There's 4 modules with over 20 step-by-step video lessons. So you're going to learn exactly how to use LinkedIn to build your personal brand. You also have an in-depth understanding of how to use LinkedIn to grow your network and find new career opportunities. The lessons are tailored specifically to help you get the most out of the platform, the most cumbersome parts, okay? And including things like your account settings and how to keep your data secure. There's easy to follow action steps after each lesson to help you perfect your LinkedIn profile and navigate the platform like a pro. And here's one of my favorite parts of this program is lifetime access to the course material and the ability to complete it anywhere, anytime. And this includes access to course updates. Now, I know that we all might be quarantined to our homes, and some of you probably are already quarantined to your home. This is a perfect time for you to hunker down and learn with me over the next couple weeks, over the next month, how to build a better LinkedIn profile so that when we come up for air from this thing that we're experiencing right now, that you are ready for those new opportunities. Now, I have to share with you my all-time favorite pay in full bonus. So we have never offered the Career Advancement Toolkit as a bonus for any of our programs, but the Career Advancement Toolkit comes inside of this program. So if you pay in full for the program today, you have access to every single thing inside the toolkit. Now, let me show you what's actually in the toolkit so you understand what you get with the Career Advancement Toolkit. You have 10 done for you templates. And of course, these are templates to help you from reaching out to your hiring officials, resume templates, cover letter templates, all of your interview follow-up templates that you could possibly think of. And I add templates frequently to this, and you'll have access to any new template that I add. You also have 3 bonus video lessons inside the toolkit. You have my perfect cover letter how-to guide, my LinkedIn Profile Essentials Starter Pack, and my ultimate guide to surviving your job search. Now, the value for the toolkit is $147, but it comes with LinkedIn Profile Perfection, so you basically pay $0 for the toolkit. And we've never done this before. I also want to give you guys a fast action bonus. Now, for the first 5 people that sign up for this program, you will get a free LinkedIn profile critique from me. Now, this is me going line by line of your profile. So not just telling you general tips like what I was able to do today, but really giving you an in-depth look at your profile, how to change some of your statements, what to change them to, how to really show your accomplishments and really build your personal brand using LinkedIn. Now, this is a $200 value, but for the first 5 people that sign up, I will be including this in your program enrollment. Now, you're probably thinking, I don't want to guess anymore. I don't want to really figure out what hiring officials are looking for. I need the solution. So I want to tell you, it is your time. It's your time to experience a LinkedIn profile that does all the heavy lifting for you, a profile that stands out from the competition and lands you higher quality offers, a profile that gives you more confidence than ever and helps you properly sell yourself. Now, it's your time to get unstuck in your career for good. So if you want a step-by-step system that helps you succeed in your career, a step-by-step system that works, I want you to join us now. Now, you're probably wondering, Heather, what's the investment for this program? The investment today, and again, this is our VIP early bird enrollment period, is 3 payments of $97. So you can enroll now for just $97 and 2 monthly payments to follow, or 1 payment of just $197. Now, if you pay in full, you save almost $100, plus you get the Career Advancement Toolkit as a bonus. And you will have access to all of that today when you enroll. And why not jump into it now, over the weekend, over the next couple of weeks, while we are all going to be hunkered down? I know I will. We didn't get toilet paper though, so we do still need to find that. I want you to join us now. Hiring someone to do the work for you could cost you up to $500. If you were to hire me as your one-on-one coach, it would cost you at least $2,000. If you were to take a college course, I know for sure because I've designed courses for colleges before on these exact topics, it would cost you $4,000 and probably even more. The total value of everything inside the toolkit, inside the LinkedIn profile perfection, including the trainings, the videos, the templates, all that good stuff is worth more than $2,000. But you can join us today. Your investment is $197. Again, this is our VIP early bird enrollment, or just 3 payments of $97. Now, don't wait and have to pay full price later. If you enroll now, you'll save $100 on the full price. You'll have access today. So you can start building out your profile, start making sure your settings are correct, making sure you're networking properly. You can start on that today. Now, this offer expires on Monday, March 16th. All you have to do is go to professораustin.com/LinkedIn and enroll. So professораustin.com/LinkedIn. Tori will pop the link in here. Again, we will be taking questions at the end, and we will, and any questions you guys have about LinkedIn. There is a final step where you will enter the secure checkout. You can either use PayPal or your credit card. And let me share with you guys a couple more stories. These are from individuals that have used the concepts inside this program. Nana was a recent client of mine. She says, I was worried about missing out on all my chances to come back to the job market. So she had taken time off to take care of her 2 young children. She says that she really enjoyed the well-organized and neat approach. And then she also says, I feel more confident. And I know that that's one of the things that I struggled with the most when I first started using LinkedIn, is the confidence to put myself out there. Let me share a couple more stories with you guys. LaShonda landed 2 job offers with JP Morgan. So she went in for an interview, landed not 1, but 2 job offers. Alexis said before learning about LinkedIn, she had trouble using the platform. She actually didn't know anything about it. And she goes on to say that I had previously had trouble with LinkedIn. The interests section was especially helpful. So inside LinkedIn Profile Perfection, I share with you, I demonstrate exactly how to work with your interest section. And there's 2 interest sections. You have your career interests and then just interests. So there's a couple different sections in there. She says, thank you for demonstrating how to do that. Kay popped a message in and said, Kay popped a message in and said, she says, I've searched up and down in libraries, online, you name it. Your recommendations are hands down the best. A couple more stories for you guys. Charles. So Charles says, my profile is much better. I made some awesome improvements based on your advice. And then James finally figured out the intricacies of LinkedIn. So I know that this platform can be overwhelming and frustrating, but I'm going to show you how to make it easy to use. So your investment today is $197 or just 3 payments of $97. All you need to do is go to professoraustin.com/LinkedIn to join. You will be taken to an enrollment page where you can learn more about the program. Don't forget about the painful bonus. Again, we've never done this before. We are including the Career Advancement Toolkit inside of LinkedIn Profile Perfection. So this is included in your enrollment. The fast action bonus, the first 5 people to enroll for the program will receive a free LinkedIn profile critique. And then let me share with you guys a couple more stories. I know I just love anyone that I work with. I love sharing their results because to me, it's better than anything else on planet Earth is seeing other people succeed. So Terry says, I just wanted to take a moment and thank you for your excellent coaching videos and self-help program package. He says, your guidance helped me polish up my LinkedIn profile. So he goes on to say, I'm a 57-year-old fossil who is 10 years out of the job search market. I couldn't have done it without you. And that made me laugh because Terry, I don't think you're a 57-year-old fossil, but I do see what you're saying. So Terry had some fantastic success. Ellen says, somehow I stumbled across you on LinkedIn and your advice was immeasurably helpful. She goes on to say, I start my new job on Monday and I'm super excited about the opportunity. Now, just a real quick recap what you get inside of LinkedIn Profile Perfection. 4 modules with over 20 step-by-step video lessons and in-depth understanding on how to use LinkedIn, lessons tailored to help you with the most cumbersome parts of the program, of the platform, easy to follow action steps, lifetime access, and my favorite, painful bonus, the Career Advancement Toolkit. Now, all you have to do to grab the fast action bonus, be one of the first 5, is to go to professoraustin.com/LinkedIn. Remember, we have VIP early bird enrollment happening right now through Monday. So Monday, at 11:59 p.m. Pacific, that offer expires. Let me tell you what Terrell says. He says, the information in your course was not overwhelming and simple to follow. Now, if you guys have ever been overwhelmed by this platform or you have ever wondered, how do I really get the most out of this? LinkedIn Profile Perfection is for you. Now, let me jump into some Q&As with you guys really quickly because I know you all have a bunch of questions and I want to make sure we get them answered before we finish here today. And then I do just want to remind you guys, stay safe out there. Stay safe out there. And if you have to hunker down and join me in this program for the next couple weeks and we will get your profile taken care of. Okay, so many questions coming in. Amazing. Okay, I'm going to just start from the top, Tori, unless there's somewhere else that you want me to start. But I'm going to go, Tori's been collecting all of your guys' questions here. So Diego asked a question, do the program materials, I think you're asking, is lifetime available, more material to come? Yes. Okay, such a good question. So Diego, I believe, is asking about the LinkedIn Profile Perfection and if it's available. So what I do, because I'm a teacher, right, and I've been teaching for the past 15 years, curriculum development is one of my favorite things. So over time, as there's a new update inside of LinkedIn, or if there is a new something that's going on with the platform, like a lot of times they'll change things. I record a new lesson for that and I pop it into the online course platform and you have access to that. Now, if the internet goes away, that's the only way you wouldn't have access. But we have an online learning management system, and that's where we house all of our lessons, and that's where you would go to learn everything. Kristen says, is there a payment plan for this? Yes, such a good question, Kristen. So there is a payment plan. If you remember, let me pop the slide up one more time for you so you guys can see this. You do have the pay in full, and I'm highly recommending the pay in full because the Career Advancement Toolkit comes with it. Now, the Career Advancement Toolkit values at $147 on its own. We sometimes throughout the year do flash sales on the toolkit. So yes, if you want to get the toolkit with it, pay in full for the $197, or if that's not within your budget right now, you can do 3 payments of $97. Good question. Okay. Let's see, Tom, can you ask Heather, I think you're telling Tori, to clarify the final cost given the early bird? Okay, good question, Tom. So when early bird expires on Friday, on Monday of next week, early bird expires on Monday of next week at 11:59 Pacific. The course bumps up $100 more. So you actually can grab the course right now for $197 starting Monday, so basically Tuesday of next week, it will bump up $100 more. So if you get it now, you basically save $100 off of the full price, but then you also, if you do the pay in full, you almost save $100 off of the payment plan. Daniela, you guys, she's one of my students and she knows what I'm talking about because she's seen all this fantastic content. She says, landed an awesome job. I'm so happy for you. Okay, awesome. So let's jump into any other questions relating to the program. Let me know, you guys. And then I'm going to jump into some general questions. I know we are kind of running short on time. Hey, and I'm happy to spend the time with you guys as long as we're not thinking about, we can take a few minutes to not think about all the other stuff that's happening out there, right? Except for toilet paper. We still need to figure out where to get toilet paper. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Steve. Hello, Steve. I'm going to answer some questions of yours. So you said, so should I do something like customer service representative with 15 years of experience? So you're talking about headlines, putting smiles on customers. I don't think that's bad, Steve, but I actually would like it to be, I would love to see that sentence, the 15 years of experience putting smiles on customers' faces and making them happy. I would love to see that inside of your summary. And then I would love to see the headline have more keywords that are specific to what a customer service rep would do. Would it be good headline for a customer service? Okay, I think I answered that. Okay, for the headline, what if I have two different businesses? You could include them both by just saying, this and this. Like you could put both of those into the headline. This is from Randy, by the way. Randy, what I would recommend doing here though is making sure that your profile is tailored to where you want to go. Okay, it needs to be like your path forward into the future, not looking back. We're looking forward. We don't want it to have any old, outdated information. We want it to be tailored to where you want to go. Tal says, how long should the headline be? Can it appear as 2 lines? Yeah, you can. The headline, I believe, is 120 characters. Again, if you guys remember back to what I said, don't use all 120 characters. Keep it short enough, but where you are sharing enough information that you're getting your point across, right? But don't go into like those fluffy things that people put in their headlines. It drives me bonkers. I just want to know, like, what do you do? What do you specialize in? What's your focus? What's your expertise? That kind of thing. Good question. Diego, is it wrong to include the URL name plus position in the URL? So when it comes to the URL, Diego, I would have just your first and last name. I would not put position because that position can change and you want your URL to remain the same. So for example, my URL, I believe, is Heather-Austin. If I go in and I change that now, I've lost Heather-Austin forever. So I would not ever change it. Like I would get it your first and last name in some way. If those aren't available, some form of your first and last name. You can even add a middle name in there if you want. Barbara says, when updating or revising a profile page with your connections notified of the updates. So back in the day, a long time ago, LinkedIn used to notify, and I don't know if you guys remember this, and it like drove me crazy because I was like, oh my gosh, if I change something, everyone in my network's going to know I changed this on my summary. That was their default setting like years and years ago, but they've changed that now. So your connections won't know if you make a change on your profile unless you change it somewhere. And then on a lot of the boxes, LinkedIn will say, notify your network of this change. Most of us aren't going to do that. Now, if it's a huge milestone, yes, you can notify them of the change. But I wouldn't do that a lot because it gets a little overbearing. So I would keep it to, I wouldn't notify them unless it's like a big, huge change, like something that's only happening once or twice a year, if that. Okay. Let's see. Someone says, how do I find keywords? I think we covered the keyword question. So hopefully I got that for you. Can you store the connection template in LinkedIn? That's a good question, Helen. So when it comes to the connection template, I actually what I do is I keep a Google Doc of all my templates that I use, and I just copy and paste it from the Google Doc into LinkedIn. I don't know of anywhere that they allow you to store that. And of course, when you're using that template, change the names, change all that stuff up. Fantastic. Okay. Diego, can you see job sections available without anyone by the job company tracking them? I believe LinkedIn tries to keep you pretty anonymous. Now, they do have disclaimers that they say, we try our best to not let like your employer and other people know that you're searching for jobs. They say they try their best to do that, but they always say we can't guarantee 100% of the time that that's the case, but they really try. When you're searching, your search is tailored just to you. It's if you put anything in your career interest section where you're telling the hiring officials on the other end that, hey, I'm open to this and this and this. But LinkedIn does a pretty good job by keeping you anonymous in terms of that. Alana, hello. I'm so glad you're here. Alana says, I have a part-time job, which is appointed by the mayor. Yes, I knew that, and has some clout in the community. Love it. And I have my job as an architectural designer. Which should go first when listing employment on LinkedIn? Such a good question, Alana. So I would say whatever direction you want to go in, whatever position is the most important to you to get to that next step in your career, list that first. Okay. Even if you're employed with both, that's totally fine, but list the one that's most important in helping you take that next step. Okay. Let's see. Tom, another question. Should we be writing in third or first person? I think I answered this question again. So first person for sure on your LinkedIn profile, not on your resume though. Okay. How long should the about section be? Such a good question, John. So the about section, okay, I work with people from all over, and sometimes I'll look at their about sections and they are like super long. And I'm like, okay, you lost me on like paragraph 3. So I would recommend, this is kind of like a good rule of thumb, 2 to 3 paragraphs with 2 to 3 sentences in each paragraph. If you have it a little bit longer than that, you need to start using like symbols as your bullet points, and you need to start using, let me show you an example. You need to start using like headlines. And when I mean headlines, let me just pop this up really quick for you. Notice that I'm just using like caps. Okay. And that's a headline, because LinkedIn doesn't give you like a lot of formatting options. These are symbols. They look like bullet points. Okay. But they're symbols. So you could just go to Google and type symbols for LinkedIn profile or something. And there's so many resources out there for you to grab a symbol and use that as a bullet point. So if it's longer than 2 to 3, like notice mine's longer, right? Then you have to start breaking up the content with some other things. Awesome. Alana says, I'm applying to grad school. Oh, super cool. I didn't know you were doing that in urban planning. Connect to my commissioner part-time job. Awesome. That's super cool, Alana. Okay. Yes, Daniela is popping in a comment about the World Class Career Academy. Now, if you guys are interested in that program, that's officially launching in April. But we actually do have an option, and this is for any individuals that want to enroll in that course now, but we are officially planning a launch for that in April/May, depending on how things go with all of us being isolated to our homes, right? Let me just show you guys. This is the LinkedIn Profile Perfection enrollment page. Let me just kind of scroll through some options with you guys so you can see this. If you have not yet had a chance to look at this page, look it over. It tells you exactly, again, a lot of the information that I covered with you today. Goes through all the content that you'll get with your enrollment. But what I wanted to show you, let me get to that section on the page really quickly. What I wanted to show you is your options for enrollment. So you could grab the Career Advancement Toolkit, LinkedIn Profile Perfection. It's included in that. And then there is the option to do World Class Career Academy. But again, that will not be open again. Any of these options for, I'm not sure when. So this is kind of like a one-time thing for us to do this. Okay, let's get to some more questions. Okay, Steve had a question. Oh, geez, there's so many good questions, and I'm trying to pick the ones that will really help us get a grasp of LinkedIn a little bit better. So Steve says, how to connect with those that view my LinkedIn profile. So what I would do, Steve, is if you have the full version of LinkedIn, so you can actually see who's viewing your profile, and I would just do a quick connection request with them and be like, hey, I noticed, and keep it casual again. Say, hey, I noticed that you were looking at my LinkedIn profile. I'm glad that you came to visit me. Do you want to connect or whatever? You could just keep it a casual conversation. Momo, hello. Momo's here. Says, how can you stand out as a career coach, HR consultant, and resume writer on LinkedIn? Such a good question. I would recommend using those keywords as much as possible in your profile, especially in your summary, in your headline. So I noticed that once I changed my headline, and sometimes I'll test different things, I'll get found in different searches. So if I'm getting found in searches that I don't want to be found in, I'll say, ooh, I better adjust my headline because it's not really coming across to people that really need my help or that really need my expertise. So base your headline on that. Okay, someone says, I had several different titles, responsibilities during my previous job. How should I put them in my experience, all with the same starting, ending year? So the cool thing about once you start entering stuff in LinkedIn, you'll just enter the company, enter your title, enter the description. LinkedIn will automatically see that you have entered, if it's the same company, they actually connect it. So it shows that I had one position at this company and then I was still at this company, but with a different position. Hot Wheels, I love that username. Hot Wheels 228 says, just revised my resume, but what is the best way to highlight skills from an experience only section? I want to improve on my resume so I can add to LinkedIn as well as that using industry keywords. Okay, so I'm going to just take this for what I think the question is about your skills. Remember, when it comes to highlighting your skills, you're using keywords and keyword phrases again, but that skill section on LinkedIn is super, super, super important. In fact, what we are hearing from recruiters now that are using this tool as a search engine is that they're really focusing on those skills right now. So if you have skills in your section that you don't want to be your top 3 or that you don't want to be highlighted, don't list those. You need to list the skills that you want to be known for. Keep in mind, however, if you add a new skill to your profile right now, it's going to take time for you to build endorsement for that skill. It's not all of a sudden tomorrow you're going to wake up and there's going to be 100 people that have endorsed you. It takes weeks and months to get all those endorsements. So keep that in mind if you change your profile. But I still recommend changing it and putting those skills that you want to be known for. Okay, let's see. Tashar says, I've got an email from regarding a 20-minute call. Oh, good. Okay. So it looks like you you booked a strategy call is what I'm thinking, right? That's probably what you're saying. Felix says, question, as the saying goes, I'm a jack of all trades, but master of none. Any suggestions of when job searching? Yes, Felix. So my recommendation would be you really have to focus on what it is that you like to do and focus there. Because again, I do meet with a lot of people that are like, I'm so good at this and this and that, and I could really be happy here and I could really be happy there. But at the end of the day, like, what is something that you enjoy and you could see yourself doing for another 2, 5, 6, 10 years? And I would focus in that direction. And then the other thing here, Felix, I would recommend is focusing on transferable or exchangeable skills. And I know you guys have heard me say this before. These are things that apply to both industries or all industries as a whole, so that you're really trying to hit the mark with everything, but still try and rein it in as much as you can. Daniela says, I'm so thankful for all your help through the course. I landed my dream job and I start on Tuesday. Awesome, Daniela. I'm so excited for you. Let's see. Oh, hey, and Manita, hello. So glad that you're here with us again today. You said, do you cover skills? Is that even an important section? Yes. So I just mentioned skills. I actually show you inside of LinkedIn Profile Perfection how to build out your skills section, and how to kind of structure it. And yes, that section, it's actually becoming more and more important as time goes on from what we're learning. It seemed to kind of like drop by the wayside for a minute, but now it's like, it's picking up. Like, that's one of the things that hiring officials and recruiters and HR professionals are now using to filter profiles on. Is this 100% DIY? I'm not sure what you mean by DIY in terms of you're doing it, not having me or a professional do it. Yes, I want you to learn how to work with LinkedIn, because this platform's not going away anytime soon. It's only getting bigger. If you hire out a LinkedIn professional, which I know plenty of people that do that, what happens is then when you're like, oh, I need to change something, and then you go to log in and you're like, oh, how do I change it? Where should I change it? What should I even say? Because you've had someone do the work for you, and you can't just make a quick change to improve your profile optimization on your own. It's almost like then you got to pay someone to like go make the update for you, and it just doesn't make sense. I do not like to refer anyone to do that. I say do it yourself and learn it the right way from the beginning. Kristen, should I use my whole name because I go by my middle name? I would use, if you go by your middle name, there's no reason why you shouldn't have to use your middle name. You could use it. It depends on if it's available. So you need to check your middle, your first, your last name, check all the conversations. Yes, Sweet Rosa, is there a challenge for today? The challenge is, well, number 1, optimize your profile based on the content that I gave you. But number 2, enroll in LinkedIn Profile Perfection. That's your challenge. I love that. So good. I'm so glad you've been here most of these days doing these challenges. Manita, what are your thoughts on just updating your LinkedIn on your own and then hiring you to do a line-by-line review instead of this course? Is that more valuable, or is that even an option? Yes, I actually do LinkedIn profile reviews, but here's the interesting thing, Manita. It in terms of like on a budget standpoint, is it would be just as much for you to hire me to do a review as it would for you to enroll in the course, get the toolkit, and if you're one of the top 5, get a free LinkedIn profile review. So it's basically all the same. So why not have all the online content and all the tools and the resources that you need outside of LinkedIn so that you can do that? And then, yes, so it's the same, but I do offer reviews. Yep, I do that all the time. Manita, is there a detailed description of the lessons? Yes, there is. That's on my online platform. I'm just not sure if I wanted to overwhelm you guys with that information today. Maybe what I'll do is, oh geez, I'm not sure if I want to pull that up. Maybe I'll do that. Let me just do it for those that are here and interested in the program. I'm going to show you guys a quick glance inside, and maybe you know what I'll do is I might even do another video next week before the program closes for good, to show you what's inside. let's see if I can get to it really quickly. I wasn't prepared to show besides the enrollment page. That should give you quite a bit of information inside that page, but let me just see if I can show you guys. Okay, let me pop this screen open really quick. So this is what it would look like inside of LinkedIn Profile Perfection if you enroll. So you get all this content, and I'll just kind of go through each module. You also get these challenge videos. So these challenge videos are gone as of Thursday of next week. You will have access to those inside of this platform. So you'll notice that we talk about in module 1, we talk about the 7 parts to a powerful profile. So you'll notice the lessons, and there are lessons and links and resources and templates inside of each of these lessons. So you'll be able to see that. We talk about the other important sections of LinkedIn. So remember, I said there's 4 modules. This is module 2. So we go through your licenses and certificates, volunteer information, your accomplishments, your interests. We also go through really detailed information on how to find new opportunities on LinkedIn. So again, that includes your jobs, that includes finding and connecting with people, and that includes career interests. Now, keep in mind, these videos that are inside this learning management system, these are not from YouTube. These are organized lessons that I have pre-recorded that walk you through the exact process. And then in the 4th module, we go through making LinkedIn more user-friendly. So again, how we act, and these are all how-to videos. I show you click here, then click here, then write this, then do this. They're very how-to. We talk about your account settings, your background photo, keeping your data secure. We even talk a lot about how to use the news feed. So that is kind of LinkedIn Profile Perfection in a nutshell. That's what you would be looking at inside of the enrollment. Plus you do get, oh geez, I'm really tempted to show you guys the toolkit too, because that's one of my favorite resources that we have. We have so many fantastic people that get results just from this toolkit. It's amazing. Every day I'm getting emails from people that have used the resume template, the LinkedIn resources inside of that, and all that good stuff. So okay, let me go back to questions here really quick. I don't want to get too far off track. Let's see. Chris says, should I ignore a personal family friend request? Just only trying to connect with professionals that are work contacts. Chris, no, I would not ignore a family friend request. Keep in mind that these people, your family and friend, even though they're not just like you in terms of their work experience, I wouldn't ignore them, because they might have a connection with someone else that is closely related to a position you want. And those are the perfect people to reach out and say, hey, would you mind if you put me in touch with this individual, or would you mind? It's easier to ask those people than it is a complete stranger. So no, I would not do that. Such a good question though. And Chris goes on to say, I don't want my connection list to fill up like it was on Facebook. I totally get that. And I don't like spam, and I don't like that kind of stuff on LinkedIn. I keep it very personal, very separate, but at the same time, I still connect with people that are working in the industry or my neighbors. And I like to do that because they're going to be the ones that support you at the end of the day to help you move in and transition into a new position or whatever that might be. Okay, Ram says, how to increase our skill endorsements faster? Ask people. I know, as awkward as that might be, to say, hey, by the way, could you please endorse me for this skill? Asking people is the best way to get it up there faster. Okay, Manita says, sorry, I wasn't clear. I love the idea of doing the work. Oh, okay, I get that. Yes. And then you said, but then want a pro to review. Yes, I'm a big proponent of that. I have business coaches that I work on things, and then I say, hey, can you look at this ad, or can you look at this enrollment page? Can you give me? So yes, I totally get that. Is there a live group Q&A? There is because of the price point of this program, there is not a live group Q&A. However, inside of World Class Career Academy, we do live coaching. So if that's a program that you decide you want to enroll in the future. We do coaching for that program for a specified time. We also have a private group just for those people. So they're able to get questions answered a little bit quicker. They're able to get feedback on things. A lot of times people will post their resumes in there. They'll even post their LinkedIn profiles in there. But yes, I'm a big proponent of having your work reviewed. Okay. Asma says, is there a money back guarantee? So we don't have a money back guarantee in place right now. However, I will tell you, I am 100% confident about this program that I don't think we very rarely get refund requests. Like it happens. In fact, in my whole time of doing business, I probably have only had 2, maybe 3 in like a 3-year period or a 2-year period. So it's not something that I anticipate happening. However, if you jumped into the program and you said, you know what, I've looked through the content, this really is not what I expected, or I wanted to see this or whatever, we would refund your money 100%. Yep. Because I'm a big believer and I want it to really work for you. And I don't want anyone in the program that's not in there to really learn and take action. Okay, so Alana, I love your questions, Alana, says, how would you include your Gallup 5 strengths into your profile/skills? So you can add, what I would do when it comes to the skills or in the profile, because you can add all that good stuff inside of your summary. So really build out your summary, but you don't have to say, these are my 5 strengths or whatever. You can talk to it more in terms of like, this is what I have accomplished. My greatest strengths are, my greatest accomplishments are, so speak to it on that front, and then go in to the skill section and pick out those skills. Now, depending on the position you want, depending on the industry you're in, you're going to tailor your skill section to that industry. So you can also add those strengths to your skill section, but just list the most important skills first. Good question. You guys have some amazing questions. Now professoroustin.com. Quick reminder, if you have not yet joined us inside this program, you'll go to professoroustin.com/LinkedIn. We have the VIP early bird enrollment open until Monday, March 16th. Again, if you guys are interested in this program, don't forget about the pay in full bonus for this program, the Career Advancement Toolkit. You can grab that. Also, don't forget about the fast action bonus. So for the first 5 people that sign up, you will receive a free LinkedIn critique from me. This is a recorded review of me walking line by line in your profile. Normally, if I had to give you like a time limit on this, I take anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. So I really focus on one profile and really focus on what it is that you can do to improve your profile. And we also go through how to navigate LinkedIn so that you're confident using it. So let me know, again, if you guys have questions when this replay ends, pop them into the comment section. This 3-day challenge is only available until next Thursday up here on my YouTube channel, and then it will be removed. So make sure you take a look at all of the other day 1 and day 2. Tori has all that in the comments, in the chat. And then we've also popped those into the comments below this video. So we spent some fantastic time here today. Let me just say, I want to tell you guys, be safe out there, wash your hands. If you're quarantined, come and join me inside LinkedIn Profile Perfection. We'll be quarantined together because I guarantee we're almost there. We're not there yet. My kids are still at school today, but our state, the state that I live in, has canceled all events 100 people or more. So all my kids' games got canceled this weekend, and we're kind of hunkering down. We're going to try and find some projects to work on. So questions or anything, email me, email Tori. We are here to help you guys. And let's spend a couple weeks together, being quarantined together. So stay safe out there, you guys. I'm so appreciative that you are here with me today. Don't forget LinkedIn Profile Perfection early bird VIP offer ends on Monday. If you have any questions at all before then, please email us, and you guys know where to find me. I'm all over here on LinkedIn and on YouTube and LinkedIn, and my information is there for you. So we will chat soon. You guys stay safe this weekend.